All right. Now then, what is Mars Horizon? Mars Horizon is a game about space exploration. You can sort of think, well, honestly, the best way that I could explain it is a much more accessible, but that comes with both pros and cons, version of Kerbal Space Program in our real, in our solar system, starting in kind of in the dawn of the kind of space era, and then going through real world rockets, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot to learn with this game, in that like almost everything has like a lore entry where you can learn about the real world equivalent and how it was used historically, and its importance in history. It is a game. There are competing space agencies that you're working against, or in some cases with, to try and further their exploration of the solar system and get up there. A less derpy version of KSP. I mean, in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. But it is really fun. It's a super chilled out game. You do not need to have as extensive an understanding of orbital mechanics or indeed just physics for building the rockets in this game. It's a much more gamified version of KSP if you want to make the KSP comparison. And that will be a comparison that will be, very easy to reach because of just the nature of the game. But there is so much more game in this, I think I would say. So thank you so much for all of the support in chat. Diolch yn fawr for all of the gift subs, everything. Thank you, everyone. That was really lovely. Right, okay, let's jump into a game. Now, this has actually been made in conjunction with ESA, the European Space Agency. A lot of effort, and you can tell a lot of passion has been poured into this. It was done in combination with the ESA and the British Space Agency, actually. A lot of like interviews, a lot of kind of drawing from actual data, which was actually pretty cool. So if you're interested in the history of spaceflight, this would be a really good game, especially for you. We've got the National Japanese Space Program. We've got the space program of the People's Republic of China. We've got the National Space Program of the Soviet Union. We have NASA and the ESA. However, you can make your custom agency as well. And of course, we're gonna make a custom agency as well. And yeah, Zangiri, Twitch is broken. A lot of emotes are not showing right now, not just the new DAP emotes. Yeah, I know. It is just my luck to stream with a whole new bank of new Twitch emotes on a day when Twitch is deciding to have a little bit of a wobbly. But then when is Twitch not having a little bit of a wobbly, frankly? Platinum Toast, thank you very much for the 9 months, mate. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you. But yeah, we're going to make a new agency. So, appearance-wise, ESA. No, I already given her away. The T agency, obviously. Come on. As for flag and badge, though, you got a couple of options. You haven't got a wealth of customization options here. You've just got a couple of standards that you can just pick from. Okay, well, what are we going to go for? Let's pick something nice. Well, I mean, no, it's not too bad. These are very Star Trek-y, I feel. That one looks like some sort of... Oh, I guess those plumes of clouds. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. This one is Star Trek-y in a different way. This feels like those angles. That feels very Klingon to me. Very Klingon indeed. Very Klingon. Totally evil Aavak T. Wow. Thanks. Let's have a look. We could go with more of the sort of the sort of the planets in the solar system. I kind of like that one. This is quite got a bit of a Unity feel to it. Same sort of thing with this, but though that's much more. That's much more just Europe and Africa, really, in the Middle East. Let's see. Could have something like this. It's angular, but it's a little bit more abstract, I feel. The Laurel, the Chevron, or the solar system on blue look very dark, but they do. I think this one. I think we're going to go with this for the T agency. What does T stand for? Because there has to be something agency. Exploration agency, then we just need to find something for the T. Trans-Earth Agency. Oh, I like it, Matt, and that is perfect. We're going to go with the Trans-Earth Agency. Wonderful. Should I actually type that out? Yeah, sure. It would help if I could type. There we go. The Trans-Earth Agency. I like it. T. NASA is an administration, not an agency. Indeed, it is. The ESA, though, is the European Space Agency. At least I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. We could go with Europe's spaceport. Go with the Dapper Dell spaceport. It is. Ah, fantastic. Marvellous. Yeah, it is European Space Agency. Yeah, I thought so. Let's see. Well, I mean, British space is a part of the ESA, though. I mean, I imagine there's a lot of as far as I'm aware, I'm fairly certain there are actually there's actually legislation and just general agreements across the earth that space belongs to no one. As far as I'm aware, I think that was the case. Or maybe that was just what they hoped to do, and then it got shot down by a bunch of nations that were like, no, the space above us is our space. But I'm actually fairly certain that space, like, generally everyone is in agreement that space is space, and no one owns the space. There's the Outer Space Treaty. Yeah. Well, the old Dapper Down farm certainly has moved up in the world. Yeah, I know. I mean, you know, the animals, they're just out back, okay? We made sure that they're far enough away from the launch site that they don't get bothered by all the noise and the incredible heat. But, you know, they're just chilling out there. They're having the best life over in the barn. It's fine. We just make sure to call them in before we launch any rockets. Right, traits. You've got a little bit of leeway with this one. It's quite a lot of stuff you can do. You can have up to 5 traits. You've got both negative and positive, so you can build something you want. So backup systems, you can restart a task once per mission. All of this is going to make sense once we get into the game. But having a look through, cut price cosmonauts, 50% discount on hiring and the upkeep of cosmonauts. Commercial insight, 25% fund reward for lucrative type request missions. Economical architecture, economical assembly, efficient architecture, efficient assembly. It's like reduction in the cost of building vehicles, payloads, buildings, or the speed at which you can do it. Expansion expertise, minus 25% research cost for building research tree. Okay, that's not too bad. Failure is not an option. Double support penalty for failed missions. So if we took a mission and we failed it, we would get hit twice as hard in public opinion. But I feel we should not plan to fail. So we're going to take that. We're going to plan to succeed at all costs. We could get away with it. There's also flexible working, no cost to moving buildings. That's actually quite good. For the glory. Achieving a top 3 milestone rank gets a double support bonus for the world. Plus 50% rewards for joint missions. I kind of like that. So if we go on a joint mission with one of the other space agencies, we'll get an extra mission rewards. I like it. We'll go there. We want to be for the human race. This isn't so that we can just make money. I'm sure that's what we've told the government, but no. We're trying to advance human understanding of the cosmos. This is a very idealistic space agency. As fitting of a space agency with the acronym T. We're Raylene, thank you very much for the 18th month. Diolch yn fawr. Hey, how's it going? It's going well. Thank you so much for dropping by. And thank you so much, Renosian, for the cheer as well, mate. I mean, it's for the T, I suppose. Frontier Science, achieving top 3 milestone rank gives science. Now, what it means by milestone, there are certain things like the first space launch, the first animal in space, the first lunar orbit, the first human on the moon. All of these are milestones, and every space agency can just keep doing it. But the first one gets a big reward. The second one to do it gets, silver kind of. The third one gets bronze, and you get some reward. But then the fourth and the fifth, because there are 5 space agencies, they, as far as I'm aware, the fourth and the fifth get nothing special other than, you got a load of science from doing this thing. But you don't get any like massive publicity boost. So that's what it's talking about, milestone ranks. Human Endeavor, plus 25% science reward for crewed missions. That sounds quite cool, actually. Fortune Favors, plus 10% chance of positive events in missions. I mean, failure is not an option, so I kind of feel like we're already a bold space agency, so sure, we'll go with that one. That leaves us 2 points left. Launch proficiency. We can have much better launch reliability. That sounds very nice. A launch of veterans, plus 1 level to all vehicle parts. As every time you use a vehicle, you get better with using that vehicle. It becomes more reliable as a result. Aavak, will the animals we send to space be ferrets? Maybe. That seems fitting. Also, do you get an achievement for launching a car? I wouldn't be surprised. There are a lot of real-world parallels in this game. Like, it draws a lot from history. And even when things are kind of... Because it gives you a lot of option on how you build your rockets and stuff like that, you might do nothing even close to what was historically accurate for the certain launches. But it'll also... Every time you use a new piece, a new rocket, a new whatever, it gives you a bit of information on it. And that includes its kind of real-world application in its historical relevance. Have I started drinking the Demon's Brew yet? It started off with the Demon's Brew, yes. But it's fine. We're going to be extra dapper in an effort to thwart our cutthroat businessman-like approach to... Early on, we're just going to get all the money, and we're going to get first in everything, not because we're being good, but because we want to be the best. And then later on, when we get to the tea, because honestly, the Demon's Brew is not going to beat 67 dapper drinks. Then it'll switch gears into, well, we've got all of this money. Now what are we going to do with it? Be evil? No, we're going to be great. We had to be evil in order to get all the money, but now we're going to use the money to better humankind. That's hopefully our redemption arc. But launch proficiency, 10% launch reliability is actually really good. Firstly, invalid launch windows become suboptimal launch windows. That is good, because that means certain times in the year, if we really need to push something out first, and we're willing to take a launch reliability hit, even the worst days become acceptable for us to try and launch on. Hey, Ataki Rosh, how you doing, mate? Not because it's easy. Milestone support bonus is only granted for first place finishes. Wow. Well, that's a hecking hard one, because I mean, you still get a lot of bonus for second and even third place on the milestones. If you go for this one, you're all inning. But the rewards in combination with... I think there were other ones. There were definitely other ones that we passed over that would work really well with that. Outer Planet Pioneer. More science rewards for checking things out in the outer planet. Pathfinders. Minus 25% research costs for mission research tree. Payload proficiency. So better reliability on the payload. That comes in pretty heavily in some of the minigames. Premium construction. Everything costs more. Premium assembly. Payload costs more. Project Mercury. Total astronaut recruitment pool size is doubled. Research assistance. All science-related building agency bonuses are doubled. Because we actually build our HQ as well. Rocket scientists. Certain benefits in the research tree. Space subsidy. Start the game with a lot of money. Team player. Double chance of being offered joint missions. Ooh. Well, that would work quite well. That would work very well. Okay, I like it. Through adversity. Receive 100% of first phase science reward for failed launches. We're not planning to fail any. Let's have a look. Unknown entity. All diplomatic relationships start at 0. Volatile boosters, no. Okay, we've got one more point to spend. What do you think, chat? We've had a quick look through most things. What do you feel like? We could go for launch proficiency, getting that 5% better chance of our rocket and the things in our rocket, namely animals and peeps, does not explode violently. Can only be a good thing. I really feel that launch proficiency is a strong contender. Because, I mean, if the payload fails, yes, we failed the mission. But if the launch fails, we failed everything. Is there anything else? Global innovation. Science income bonus from Fendi and allied diplomatic relations is increased by 50%. That might be quite nice. Human endeavor. Yeah, I think launch proficiency is a pretty good one. Hey, Aavak, is blessed by the Omnisire a possible dream? If only. Fine, if only. Truly, 'twould be grand. Yeah, I think we're going to go with launch proficiency here. Global innovation is super dapper. Science, well, I mean, that would lean into our whole joint missions thing. You know what? Sure, we're going to synergize it. There we are. Okay, so all of our traits. Failure is not an option for us. We're doing this for the world. Fortune favors the bold. That is us. We're also a team player, and we've got global innovation. Now, as for the diplomacy. Okay, so if you look at this, we're kind of, neutral. It'll be somewhere between the bottom end of neutral and the top end of neutral. It's not exactly the same value, but we're friendly with the US. You cannot specifically assign these. You can just randomize it. So here, we're actually competing against Russia. We're neutral with China, Japan, friendly with the US. And we can keep going through. We've got an ally there with China. Antagonistic. Oof. That's a bit of a rough one. But let's keep going. I would like at least one allied. Ideally no antagonistics. That was not too bad. No, it isn't too bad. Competing. I'm not sure if it's like internally rolling points, so you have to have like there's a maximum you could ever possibly have. Well, we've seen that we can be allied without having an antagonistic. I guess we'll just keep going for that. Okay. Well, we could be on fairly good terms with Russia, competing with China, Japan, and the US are neutral with us. In my head, this is based in Europe, so that this is probably good because we're close to them. What do you think, chat? Is this good? Now recite the canticles of launch. No. You're not supposed to recite the canticles of launch yet. My lord, which Magos taught you? You haven't even recited the canticle of canticles yet. My goodness. Doomed. You've doomed that launch. Everyone knows you start with the canticle of canticles. Then you need at least 3 apostles to witness you apply the holy ointments, going straight to the canticle of launch. My goodness. Allied with Russia? What could possibly go wrong? Yep. Go recite the canticle of pre-launch, the canticle of countdowns. My lord, you like jumped like 50 steps. Okay, I think we're good with this. Let's go ahead and begin. Now we can play on Pioneer with tutorials and other such amazing things, or you can go with Veteran. A more demanding challenge for experienced players. Missions are tough, and other space agencies will be extremely competitive. We'll go with Pioneer, I think. A balanced experience. Missions will provide a challenge, and other space agencies will be competitive. Explorer. A more relaxed experience. Missions are less demanding, and there'll be reduced competition from the other space unions. Oh, we'll go bang smack in the middle. I think it's good for us. Oh, Itar, thank you very much for the 5 gift subs there. That was really kind of you. Diolch yn fawr. What a canticle. A lot of viewers are fans of 40k, or at the very least, they know something about the Adeptus Mechanicus. Bit of an intro. Don't worry too much about it. You know, it's how many tech priests does it take to change a light bulb? Well, you've got to have, you know, at least 3 apostles to recite the canticle of illumination. You've got to have two apprentices to carry the incense, you know, so on and so forth. None. They used the Skitari for manual labor. See? That was good. Right there. Perfect. Okay. Right. Request missions. All missions auto-resolve. Auto-resolve options will be available to all missions. No, I think we'll go with just request missions. Or no missions, perhaps. But request missions will allow us, I think, to... I think once we've got contractors, we can work with that. I'm not entirely sure on that one. But I think... we're about ready to start the game, everyone. Welcome, Director. You are entrusted with guiding our agency through this dawning space age and far beyond. Make use of our diplomatic expertise to promote international cooperation and scientific innovation and place our agency at the forefront of humanity's voyage into space. Only by working together can we realize feats long thought impossible. With your leadership, we will uncover the mysteries of the solar system and, perhaps one day, make humans a multiplanetary species. Bon chance, Director. Now we have got tutorials turned on, so we'll go through the tutorials as they go. I think it's about 30 minutes, an hour, depending on the progress of tutorial-ish. But it'll do a good job of introducing the components slowly. The solar system screen is your gateway to the various aspects involved in running your agency, such as accessing the research and base screens, selecting planets to discover, available missions, and viewing recent and upcoming events. Your current tutorial objectives are tracked here. Completing these tasks is a great way to get your agency up and running. So building a sounding rocket, research small launchpad, build a small launchpad, and launch a sounding rocket. It's fairly straightforward. Your first objective is a crucial first step for any new space agency, constructing and launching an experimental sounding rocket to test and improve your booster technology. Selecting planets. Selecting a planetary body in the solar system screen will display a list of missions associated with that body. Highlight Earth, then press left. There we go. The mission select screen displays all missions belonging to the selected planetary body. Details of the current selected mission can be seen here, such as the length of the mission and the rewards on offer. There are 2 types of missions, milestones and requests. Milestone missions are important for advancing your space program and will be contested by other agencies. They will often require additional research. Request missions will become available as your agency completes milestone missions and can be a valuable way of boosting your support and your science. Request missions don't require additional research, but each is only available for a limited time. Yeah, this is going to be, well, hopefully a lot less exploding than KSP, or at least the way I play KSP. It would be frankly difficult to be as or more exploding than the way I play KSP. Research required to unlock the current selected mission will be listed here. Note that all required research has already been completed for the test launch. All of the space agencies will be racing to complete milestone missions first. Doing so will result in increased support from your agency, or for your agency, like public support basically. And this, you can think like XCOM, for those of you who've played XCOM. Effectively, support is the amount of interest and public support you have, and that directly affects your funding review every year. If you've got a lot of support, your funding goes up. If you've lost support, your funding goes down. So be aware of that one. Here you can track the progress of the 5 agencies in regards to the currently selected mission. Now, the interesting thing here is we'll see when they plan to launch certain missions, and also if they've done all the requisite research for those missions as well. Once you're ready, select a planned mission and start planning the test launch mission. I will do so. So here we are. The rewards will get some support, some science, milestone rank. So extra support based on first, second, or third place. And the fourth and fifth, they don't get it, but they will want to complete these missions regardless. You still get the base rewards. So, the lion's share of the reward comes from just doing it. Whereas, you get a little bit extra if you're particularly bold. And you've got all sorts of eras here as well. Right now, we're in the dawn of spaceflight. Era 2 is human space exploration. 3 is Mars and beyond. And 4 is multiplanetary species. We will be getting there in time. So we want to plan this mission. It's the only thing we can do right now. The mission plan includes each stage necessary to take a mission from the drawing board and up into space. Note that each mission plan takes up 1 mission slot. You can unlock additional mission slots by constructing mission control buildings and expanding them. Right now, we can only do 1 mission at a time. And so if we plan for a very long mission time, especially if, for example, the calendar just wasn't particularly good. If you were wondering why I was like, oh, that unavailable launch window down into a suboptimal launch window is great, because certain parts of the year you just can't do stuff. So if you've got particularly bad planning or just bad timing, you might have to wait until like sometime next year to launch a mission. Well, that mission slot is tied up for that time. Having more missions is really important, or just being able to say, nah, you know what? I know there's a storm going on up there, but I have faith in our rocket. And I guess our crew. Mostly the rocket, though. The crew may end up like stains on the back wall, but it's fine. The rocket will survive. So on and so forth. You can tell I've been drinking coffee, my lord. A test launch has no payload, so you can get straight to designing the launch vehicle. Normally, you'd have to design the payload as well. Right, building a sounding rocket. On the screen, you'll be able to select the previous vehicle designs or choose to start a new design. For the test launch, only a sounding rocket can be selected. So it's a super basic one. We're not really doing anything here, really. So you don't need to worry about this one. It's literally just do the sounding rocket. Later on, we can select the booster, the upper stage, so on and so forth. This is the vehicle designer, where you'll be able to design the vehicle for your mission. A vehicle is made up of a booster and an upper stage. The booster must be able to carry the upper stage, whilst the upper stage must be able to carry the payload. Note that for the test launch, only the sounding rocket may be selected, and there is no payload. Displayed here are the vehicle stats, where you can check the booster has enough capacity to carry the upper stage, and the vehicle can reach the minimum distance required by the mission. Note that the launch pad required is not currently met. The sounding rocket requires a small launch pad. You can still design and build the vehicle without the required launch pad, but will need to build a launch pad in order to launch the vehicle. Makes sense. Launch reliability is a key stat that determines the chance of the vehicle launching without an error. As an experimental vehicle, the sounding rocket has a very low reliability. However, it will gain large amounts of reliability per launch, even if it blows up. The sounding rocket is a valid design for the mission, so we can now confirm it. It'll cost me 80k to build this thing. It's only 25%. That is terrifying. Terrifying. But I believe the sounding rocket is one of the best in terms of gaining reliability through use. So it'll gain like 15% extra reliability every time you use it. So that one should be fine. There's no real weight, nothing else that we need to consider. Once a vehicle has been constructed, you'll receive a construction report from your engineers. This will often include traits. Now, this is actually quite cool, because when your engineers build something from a design, it isn't just, it works exactly as it did on paper. They can sometimes be negative or even positive traits to it, just because of the way it was built, which is actually pretty cool. We'll continue with that. If you have the necessary funds, you can start constructing the vehicle. This can take several months. Once the vehicle is completed, you'll be able to move on to the final stage of the mission plan and set a launch date. Very well, let's go ahead and build the vehicle. Pomp. Our engineers will begin construction immediately. Malamute will be completed on March 1957, 2 months away. You can completely rename it, but for the sounding rocket, because there's a shockingly high chance of it exploding, I won't be naming this one. Now that the sounding rocket is constructing, it's time to build a launch pad capable of launching it. Very well. Accessing research. Various screens crucial to running your agency will be accessed here. Punk.